At the beginning of this movie, we are told that an online gangster on dark web. It is a community of people. They call themselves Eskism and their job is to make big criminals fight among themselves for money. They used to live stream their entire fight on Eskism, which people from all over the world used to watch this game on the dark web. The name of the most dangerous player was Nyx. Nyx has been playing this game since she was 13 years old and she never lost in this game because the loser had to die. After this we see Miles, who is in a gaming company. He used to do coding and people thought his work was great, but in reality, Miles didn't like his work at all. He didn't even like the game he was working on. His boss threatened to fire him every day because he is very lazy and does not do his work on time. These were some of the things which always troubled him. Despite all these problems, there was one place where he used to vent out all his anger, and that place was the internet. Miles on the internet used to abuse all those people, anyone who thought differently from him. He used to block people, used to report posts and videos and do all those things which he doesn't like to see on the internet. One day when he comes to his home and seeing on TV that every news channel was talking about Schism, Miles thought, why not make fun of the people on the internet who watch people die live on Schism, now that he was a programmer. So he immediately opens the dark web and starts abusing those people who were happy to see people dying, but while trolling them, he accidentally comes across the person who used to run that entire network. This man's name was Richter and he doesn't like someone making fun of his customers like this. While abusing them, Miles realizes that they knows his IP address, so he immediately stops this schism, because anyone could be tracked by IP address. Miles gets a message from his ex-girlfriend and she wants to meet him. He was so happy thinking about meeting her that he falls asleep dreaming beautifully. They both walk in the garden. They were sitting in the car, but suddenly someone knocks loudly on his door. Miles did not want to open the gate, but he could not stop them from breaking that gate. We see that the man was none other than Richter from the game in Schism. Boss Richter checks his laptop and confirms that Miles is the same man who was abusing him on the internet. They had come to break his hands because with the same hands he had written bad about him on the internet, but in Richter's mind they had even worse plans for Miles. They made him unconscious and operate on his hands and fit 2 guns inside him. When Miles regains consciousness, he is horrified by the sight of those guns and calls for help. He was trying to call his girlfriend, but because of those guns he couldn't hold his mobile. Miles realizes that he has to kill the girl and not Nyx within 24 hours. Nyx was the best player in the game and Miles leave alone killing anyone in her life. She had never even spoken to anyone in a loud voice. On the other hand, we see Nyx, who was telling Richter that she is not going to play this game anymore and she wants to get out of here. But Richter tells her that she just has to play her last match with another man and then she can leave the game. Nyx goes to a police station in disguise because the first thing she wants to do before she kills anyone is his criminal background. She used to check, but there was nothing like this in my case. He had not committed any crime. He was a very decent man. On the other hand, Miles was having a lot of trouble in going to the toilet because of those guns, because of his one mistake and everything. As soon as he gets dressed and comes out of his apartment, he sees Nyx in front of him. As soon as Nyx sees him, she starts firing indiscriminately at him. Miles tries to explain his situation to him, but Nyx had nothing to do with his condition. She just wanted to kill him. Miles comes running in front of some policemen and asks for their help, but after seeing the guns in both his hands, the policemen ask him to surrender. Miles was trying to make them understand, but this makes the situation worse. What gets worse, Miles starts suffocating while running away from those policemen because he was an asthma patient and he had forgotten his inhaler at home. The policeman gives him a strong electric shock, but due to his attack, Miles dies. He accidentally shoots at the policeman who passed by him. There was no other way but to run away because Nyx had tracked his phone and was after him. He runs to the car where his girlfriend Nova is waiting for him. Miles tells her to leave immediately because Nyx is about to blow them both up with a bazooka. He is so nervous that he can't even lie to Noah properly about his situation, and when Noah grabs his hand when she sees guns, she doesn't listen to his words and gets scared of him and runs away from there. There was no one to support Miles anymore, so he goes and hides in a dustbin. Richter's spy dons were keeping an eye on him that live. The director of the stream removes the camera from her and puts Nyx in focus, but the Richter wanted to see Miles only. They argue a bit about this, but the director gets so angry at him that he strangles his own director and kills him. We see that Nova had come to the police asking for help, but the police wanted to catch Nyx, not Miles, because he was the one who had created terror in the entire city. Miles comes out of the dustbin and puts on his clothes. He tries to wear it, but because of those guns he was not able to do anything else. He became so depressed that he finally thinks of committing suicide, but there was a beggar sitting near him who helped him to keep the gun in the right direction. Miles gives him advice so that the bullet goes straight through his brain. Miles thought the beggar was a bit strange, but the same man helps him get dressed. After this, Miles goes to his office because he found out that he is being tracked. While going on the way, he realizes that many people in his office have started recognizing him because of this schism. He asks his friend to remove the tracing virus from his phone. While his friend was removing the virus, but his boss comes. He was scolding Miles for coming late to the office. Miles had seen a lot since the beginning of the day and now he was not able to tolerate his boss's words. That is why he shows him his gun and kills him. But he starts shouting that his boss had seen him so angry for the first time, and on top of that this time he also had a gun, so he gets scared of him. After some time Nyx reaches there and kills his boss and opens fire in his office. Miles starts to shoot at her, but his aim was so bad that he couldn't even accidentally shoot Nyx. He runs away in a car, but without fingers he was having trouble holding the steering wheel, due to which he has a severe accident and gets badly injured. Miles asks Nyx to spare his life, but here we come to know that Nyx wanted to kill him because after doing so Richter had given him his life. Miles had promised to erase all criminal records. While firing at her, Miles accidentally shoots a gas tank, and seeing the fire coming out of it, Nyx goes blank as if she is very afraid of fire. Miles had a chance to kill him, but he does not do so and leaves from there. After this he makes a video call to Nova and tells her that he is leaving the city and going somewhere far away, but the Richter kidnaps him on the video call itself. Because he did not want Miles to leave the game, Richter tells Miles that he has only 5 hours to kill Nyx, and if he does not do so, he will kill Nova alive. He turns on the tracker again on the phone and calls the police from the same phone and calls them to his location so that as as soon as they come face to face with each other, the police encounters Nix. He leaves his phone and goes away from there. He starts to leave but accidentally ends up in the middle of some gangsters who were dealing drugs there. When they see Miles, they think he was spying on them, so they point their gun at his head. But before she can kill Miles, Nix arrives there and she kills them all by shooting them with a machine gun because she had to kill Miles to win the game. Miles starts running away to save his life, but at the same time during this, he shoots and kills a man. This is the first time that he has killed someone, but it is of no use because the police have arrested him anyway. They arrest Miles and take him with them to the police station. He tries to explain to them that the rector is forcing him to do all this, but neither of them were ready to listen to him. Here Miles comes to know that Nix is the daughter of that inspector. In fact, 16 years ago, Miles had arrested the rector, and to take revenge, he put the inspector's entire family in a car and blew it up with a bomb. The inspector says that his entire family, except his daughter, got burnt to death in that blast. Miles would have understood. Maybe this was the reason why Nix was so scared after seeing the fire that day. We learn that Peach Richter was also an informant of those policemen, and he was not sitting anywhere but with Miles, that imposter, that inspector. Miles kills Richter and shows Miles a recorded footage of Richter telling him that if he ever went to the police again to ask for help, he wouldn't wait until 5 hours had passed to kill his girlfriend. While sitting near the dead body of the officer, he sees that the inspector was tracking his and Nova's phones. After this, he goes to another hacker friend of his and finds out the exact location of Nova's phone. She was also this kind of customer. She recognizes Miles and tells him that he is the most watched contestant till date, and perhaps this was the reason why the rector did not want to give him such an easy death. He wanted as much as possible. People see him begging for his life like this. When Miles reaches that location while tracing his phone, we see that Rector was waiting for him there. He kills Nova in front of him and runs away from there. He was crying after seeing the dead body of Nix in front of him when he realized that the dead body was not of Nova but of his friend. If he had to stop all this, then he would have had to kill Nix. That is why he turned on the GPS of his mobile again. Miles does this, causing Nixus to track him down and reach him. Miles tells him that both of them have to fight the Rector together, otherwise neither of us will be left alive, but Nix does not listen to him and kills him one by one. She shoots with 6 bullets. Nix wins in this game, but those people who live asthmatic, all this was a well-planned move of hers. When Nix came to her, she told her that the inspector whom the Rector got killed. Knowing the truth that he was her dad, Nix wanted to avenge her dad's death, and that is why she did not kill Miles. Miles wore a bulletproof vest before being shot so that people would think that he was dead. After this, the two come to Richter's base and start killing his men. When Richter learns that both of them are still alive and are coming to kill him, he sends his men to kill them. Miles sees that Rector Nix had spread the disease all over the world and now it is impossible to stop it. Nix was getting beaten a lot by a man. He even cut off her fingers, but she was not the girl to give up so easily. In the end, she got a big fight. All of Rector's men are killed with a blast. Miles picks up Nix's severed fingers because they could be reattached. Rector runs away with Nova when they both try to catch him and stops them. There were so many people standing in front of her that it was impossible to pass through them to reach the Rector, but Nix was ready to sacrifice herself to avenge the death of her family. She tells Miles that he must kill the Rector for her. Saying this, she plants a bomb on herself and jumps among them. She tries to kill as many people as she can, but when she was too injured, she finally blasts the bomb on herself. Miles sees that Nova had made marks on the wall to reach him. While following them, he comes to the roof of the building where Richter was waiting for his helicopter. Richter tells him to look how famous he is today, but he was nothing without her. Miles says that Nix is dead. This game is over now, so he lets her and Nova go, but Richter started this game with the intention of never ending. Miles shoots his last volley at her, but like every time, he misses the target. At this time, around 1 million people were watching this show and they wanted to know what Miles will do next to save Nova. We see that Richter fires bullets at him one after another, but still Miles reaches him and beats him a lot and finally hangs him from the building. Richter tells him that nothing will happen if he kills me. People like me are now all over the world. But at that time Miles doesn't think about the whole world and throws him down from the building. He falls to his death and Miles wins the game. He was lying half dead on the ground soaked in blood. Miles finds Nova on his side, sees him coming, but the truth was the exact opposite. In fact, Nova was so scared after seeing him in this condition that she ran away from him. We see that despite all this, Miles was still alive and he raised his hands. He had got it repaired again. Now he had also found the purpose of his life, which was to eliminate this schism from the world forever. With this story ends. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.